Hi everyone. Tonight it's Saturday night and I'm in a creepy woods in Wales, just sitting on my own. Uh, this time I remembered to bring a light with me because, like I said to you before, I don't know how to work the torch on my phone, so I brought a spare light, just so at least you can see my face. So, like I've been saying in the last couple of videos, my higher intuition or my heart or whatever you want to call it, okay, it's been screaming at me that there's like it's like got this feeling like as if time's of the essence, like it's just telling me that I've got to get all the important information out as quickly as possible. Some of the story stuff can like wait later if we get time to do it, but for some reason it has a feeling about that there's a pressing for time. So uh, it, I wanted to get this technique out, okay. So when we talked about the event, and I said in that video that I'd spent a long time trying to find different ways to get back to that place. So only last year, at the start of last year, I started to have a series of like dreams and intuitions and stuff during meditation, telling me how to get there. Okay, and it for me it worked. So the thing is, I need to share it with you. Okay, if you think like the way that we got into this world is through a process of losing consciousness, of losing awareness, then the remedy to that, of course, is awareness. So I don't want this to be like too like mystical. Okay, we're trying to cut bullshit. I know it's bizarre with the subjects that we're talking about, but the whole point is to cut the bullshit. Okay, you don't have to be religious or a spiritual guru to do these techniques. Okay, this is for anybody. Okay, for anybody. All right. So let me just tell you exactly what. If you've done like meditation before, okay, then there's there's some advantage to that. Okay, that you've practiced like breathing and like watching the thinker and all that kind of stuff. If you've done that before, great. Okay, this is like an extension of that. If you haven't, it's not a problem. Do you know what I mean? It's just like you just follow these steps, and all I can tell you is it worked for me. Okay, and I believe that like anything, like I said before, with practice, it would work for anybody. Okay, home is our like inherent right to be there. Okay, you don't. It's not something that's special permission or that you need to be a good enough person to get there. It's got nothing to do with any of that. Okay, so let's just cut straight to the chase. All right. So this is what I would do, and this is what would work. The first thing was to do it like at night time, like before bed. Okay. So, and the reason for that is that you want as much, like you want as least external stimulus as possible. Okay. So you would find it harder to do it during the day. It's better to do it in the dark. Obviously, no phones or TVs on or someone bothering you next to you in bed or anything like that. Okay. You want to just be if possible, on your own, laying on your back, as comfortable as you can be, laying on your back in your bed in the dark with no sounds, anything. Okay. The first thing to do is just start, just again, not complicated breathing or anything, but just breathing in and out and taking conscious awareness of the breath. Okay, not trying to control it in any way, but just not only observing it but feeling it. Okay, and really like first step is to get into your body, oddly enough, but like so you feel the breath as it comes in, you feel the breath as it goes out, and you try and keep that your focus. Okay, nothing else. Then if and I mean do it fairly quickly. Okay, it doesn't take a long time, you know what I mean, like a minute or two will calm. Just that process of breathing will calm the mind down somewhat, you know what I mean, and just get you into like what they might call an alpha state. Then what you want to do is start listening and feeling your heart beating. Okay, and you want to become completely present in the body. You're laying in the bed in the dark in the bedroom, and you're listening to your breath and you're feeling your heartbeat. and you just stay there for a bit, okay? Then what you've got to do is you have to become aware, okay? Like, I need to explain this. It's like awareness is what you are, okay? Everything that you're aware of is false. So that's what you have to do, okay? You have to start looking at every aspect of what you're aware of. You pick it one at a time. So first, you're breathing, okay? And your heart's beating, and you're there in your body. Become deeply present in the awareness of that, and then start telling yourself that the truth is you're not breathing. You might be aware of the sensation in your body, and you might be aware of the heart beating, but the truth is you're not alive because your heart's beating or because you're breathing. Okay, that's something the body's doing. Awareness doesn't need to breathe, and it doesn't need a heart. Okay, it's just aware. So you just become deeply aware that that is actually not happening. Then, once you sometimes you may need to practice this a bit, okay? You'll know when you've got it right. It's like whistling with your fingers, you know? You'll know when you've got it right, okay? Because it will become unreal to you. The harder you look at something and the more you bring awareness to something, the more fake it becomes. Then, start going, oh, that's weird. In my mind, I have the sensation that I'm laying down on a bed. Start looking at that sensation deeply. Realize that there's no sideways or upright in the truth. These things are false. These are illusions. But you look at them deeply until you get it, okay? That you're not actually laying down. There's no such thing. There's not actually a bed. And you become one with the realization that that is the truth. There is no bed. There is no back to be laying on the bed. You don't actually have a back, okay? You can experience a back, but it's not the truth. Right. Then you'll start looking at the sensation. Obviously you've got your eyes closed in a darkened room, okay? So there's no visual like stimulus, okay? But as you become like aware of what we're talking about, reality will start to change. As things start to fall away from you, reality takes on a different dimension. Then come face to face with the idea that you think you're in a bedroom. Look at the sensation. Where am I actually getting the sensation that's telling me that I'm in a bedroom? Normally it would be visual or, you know, a smell or something like that. And maybe you can still smell like your home and stuff, you know. Realize that all those sensations are illusions. And there's nothing actually backing up a fact that you are in your bedroom. The truth is, you're not in your bedroom. Okay? Start looking at every sensation you have and realizing you can do it one by one. If you can feel your feet, okay, great. Go into your feet with your awareness. Feel the toes, feel the feet. And then realize deeply that there are no feet and there are no toes. You're just the awareness of them, okay? Every time you break through a new layer of that, your reality will change, okay? Now, towards the final step of it, what you need to do then is realize that the thought process that you've been having all the way through it, where you keep telling yourself, okay, so I'm not actually here in this bed, I'm not actually laying down, I'm not actually breathing, okay? That thought process, it's alone, that actual thought process, just become deeply aware of that voice, of that narrative, and then realize that that's not real either. The moment you do that, your whole reality will change. You will no longer be in the bedroom. You will no longer be in your body. You will no longer be in your head. You will have stripped away falseness. What will be left is awareness, more in its prime state. You can be there. You don't have to be afraid to be there. You're always actually there. It's just covered over by false, by illusion, okay? You can be there, it's comfortable, it's lovely, it's full of bliss. You can be there anytime you want. It's not a special right for special people. We're all it, and you can be there. Now, I can tell you that it worked for me. I got back to the same place that I was in when I was a teenager. A narrative one night opened up for me while I was there. And it said, you can stay here if you want. You can absolutely stay here. You've worked out that none of it's true. You're not held by illusion anymore. I was like, that's great. It's over. I had a completely different perspective on my life. But this is where I'm being honest with you, okay, about where I am. The narrative said to me, that's cool. You can stay here. But can I just tell you a few things about what happens in the illusion when you go? I was like, yeah. And he said, and then make up your mind whether you want to stay here or not. That's all, okay? I'm sure on some level already knew the answers, and it already set up the whole thing in order to just show me that I'm not as awake as I think I am. Or I'm not as free of illusion as I thought I was. It said, you can stay here. Let me tell you what happens in that dream if you do. He said, tomorrow morning, your partner will come into the room and she'll find your body. You'll have died in your sleep, laying next to your boy. Okay. He said, then a series of terrible things will happen. And she won't cope. And terrible things happen to your children as a result of that spiraling out. And like the, just terrible things, okay? And I was shown like how bad things could get. And he said, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The worst suffering, it said, that they will ever go through or could ever go through. It's just an illusion, and you know that now. So you can stay here. Those things will come to pass, but their lives are just as sacred as yours. And it'll be over for them too at one point. I was like, I can't do that to them. It's like, I can't. I'm not saying I'm a Samaritan. I'm just telling you the way it was. I was like, I can't do that. I can't do that. And it said, right, okay, cool. He said, you've come so far. He said, but just accept where you are, okay? Because you do care. And I suppose that's the reason why I'm making these videos now, is because, I'm free on one level, and yet I do care. I do care what happens here. I do care what happens to my family. I do care what happens to you. Myself is kind of towards the bottom of that list, but but I do care what happens. And I think that's why I feel compelled to make these videos and talk to you. I hope that you can get something out of this, and I hope that I know that there's a lot more information for me to come forward with, okay? And apparently I need to get it out as soon as possible. I don't know whether it's to do with world events or what, but we need to keep pumping this out. We need to keep going. So, okay, bless you all. Take care. Bye.